Hey guys, and welcome to another brand new video. In this video we have a little bit of an update on a somewhat not fun topic that's been floating around, and this is more focused on the, well, almost endless saga of PlayStation 5 scalpers that are basically just always plaguing the lands. Now, when it comes to this one, as you guys know, because we made maybe a few videos on it in passing, we actually had someone reach out to us to kind of give more details on how these inner workings work, how the price points are working, and kind of the big reason why botting and a lot of big scalping groups are still basically so relevant when it comes to all these big console restocks. And I really think this is still one of the biggest issues when it comes to PlayStation 5 restocks, and one of the biggest issues of our long term, but as well, kind of just also general kind of regional by regional basis that is still going to be plaguing a lot of these consoles for probably the next year or a few years or so, especially as right now a lot of these Sony and Microsoft consoles are focusing more in America and the UK and not so much in other regions as of right this second. So a lot of kind of interesting news, but also kind of bad news to go and talk about. So we're going to go and talk about it. And as well, if any of you guys are brand new, make sure you guys are subscribed with the notifications on as well for the brand new PlayStation 5 giveaway. We do keep on mentioning this up a lot. You guys only have a little bit of time left over here for the Samsung Galaxy pre-orders. So make sure you guys go check these on out. Link down below. You guys get a bunch of free money, free stock, free everything, cool stuff. Go and do it. Why not? Get that easy reservations. Click on the link, or as well, let's creep on the website if you guys want them. The Amazon links down below, the Twitter and Twitch stream down below, the Weeble and Coinbase down below, and everything else all down below. I just want to say I appreciate you guys all so much for watching, and while this topic is not the funnest topic to go talk about, sometimes I gotta go bring some light to it, and such as we kind of keep making light to my really bad haircut. So, as you guys may or may not know, a lot of consoles, the PlayStations, the Xbox, have been very, very heavily botted, very heavily scalped, and well, people do it because they make money on it. That's how it is. And we've covered this on our channel before, but one big issue is that it's not only Americans and American-based scalping groups that want to get consoles. We sometimes see other regions, say China, Japan, Brazil, Korea, even Australia, needing extra stock and needing extra just everything. Like, they want to go and make money. They want to go and sell consoles. They want to get the hookup. And that's still a big issue. So as for us in America, basically our normal third-party prices on eBay, Facebook, StockX, or whatever, have been going down. And that means that more people are there's less normal scalper interest, there's less normal bots, and as well, there's less profit to be made, which overall is good. Like, we love it. It makes everything a little bit more normal. But the one big issue is now we're seeing outside countries, basically, I'd say maybe a middle group, basically a transport group, for lack of better terms, that are now reaching out to big cook groups to now go and resell these consoles to their own homelands. Now, we've known about this, but we actually had some people reach out to us to kind of get the rough idea of the rates that they're paying and why this actually might be still plaguing the PlayStation 5 and Xbox stock for quite some time. So someone actually reached out to me. They want to be anonymous though, but they have been a part of this themselves. And at this point, they've told me that they themselves have sold over 500 consoles from either various botting or scalping measures. So what they told me is that typically, say you're in we'll kind of use China as a good reference because it does seem like that's one of the bigger focal points of regions that have a very high demand. They have a very high population, and funny enough, although a large majority of China is maybe not as well off as us in America, there is a very large function of people that are both gamers as well as make money, and obviously can go and afford this. So apparently what they typically like to go and do from these kind of buying groups, say from in China, they like to go and want to put in big orders. So they want to go and find scalping and botting groups, more so botting groups, and they want to go do a flat, huge buy. So the numbers that we're apparently being told over here is more on, they kind of usually push for around 1,000 total consoles. So they want to have a big bulk order buy. And a lot of these people are reaching out to more so these small scale botter groups, more tight-knit botting groups, where let's say you have 10 people and then they go and buy out 100 stock each. That's what they're trying to go and find out for, because they don't want to have people that are buying 5 consoles and that's it, and they try to pull them all together. No, they want to have a small independent group, or they custom bot up basically scalpers for it to go and then resell these consoles. So with that, if you guys are curious, I can even do the math right now. 1,000 consoles times 500 is typically around at least a $500,000 order, which is a lot of money, as you guys probably know, just to have that flat money for it, plus tax, so probably around $550,000. That's the typical baseline and the typical flatline conversion that they're trying their best to go maintain. And what they usually like to go, and at least what we've been told so far, is they have a baseline rate, which also does somewhat set the PlayStation 5 scalping price, at least for short term until like a lot of the other region stocks kind of I guess equal out, and they usually typically want to push for around $650 each. So every single one, like say like that 1,000 console order buy, they'll be spending $650,000, and on top of that too, these big cook groups and like botting groups that are buying it from like Amazon or Walmart or from Best Buy or Target or wherever they may be buying the stock from and having it delivered, they're making at that point around $100 each, a little bit more. But I'm sure like if they have like more stock, they get more leeway or like, whatever. So, and on top of that, then those big groups that are buying those consoles that have the money, they are then having it transported and delivered to say for China or for Korea or for Australia or wherever it may be. And then they're typically selling these consoles for around the $800 to $1,000 range, slightly more sometimes, slightly less, depending on the region, the stock, and what's going on. And that's kind of a big worry for us because it almost kind of sets like a somewhat baseline for us in all these consoles. Now, obviously, there's always that risk of getting scammed, so that also kind of puts a bit of a lower price point. And as well, there's always that risk of like maybe you just have small time botters that are buying 50 consoles and they can't just go do these huge bulk buy orders. Or as well, sometimes they just don't have the transportation means to go and move these consoles over. So this is kind of a big issue. Because not alone is like our American stock still being affected, and as you guys know, America's probably been the biggest restocking region, but it also goes and affects up other regions too. So think the Europe and Canada, and also affects up a lot of these big boy drops, like say Amazon, that typically usually gets very heavily botted, because these bots are basically being utilized to just make as much money and more so resell them in other countries. Now it is at least somewhat nicer for them because it does get more initial stock into say China, into like Korea, into like Brazil, or like like wherever, Portugal, whoever may not have as most stock. But the one I think bigger struggle with a lot of that is that just means they're taking a lot of stock from us in America, but as well, it's also maintaining up a lot of third-party price points, which is never fun to see. Because like I said, if you have a baseline, that kind of even almost would incentivize folks if their consoles were at like $570 on like eBay or whatever, to maybe even go buy it on up or mass buy it up for these botting groups to maintain the price and keep it bouncing up. And then obviously if the price is still kind of high, that also incentivizes people who want to go and scalp and buy. It's kind of like a perpetual upwards funnel. If the baseline's always 650, and even like if it's at 630, but it always wants to bounce back up to 650 because someone may buy it just to resell it to these other regions, and like I keep saying, like Korea or Japan or something like that, that's going to maintain that number, and that keeps on incentivizing normal botters, like small-time botters, and normal scalpers to want to keep on making more money and keep on botting and keep on keeping this like awful also feedback loop of people always perpetually buying consoles. And it does kind of break my heart a little bit. Mainly because for me, we want more consoles, obviously. We want more normal stocks. We don't want Amazon or Best Buy as being botted out. And that's probably why a lot of these big retailers have been pushing even more and more and more in stores. Because they probably thought a lot of this botting issues would be done forever ago. And sadly, it still hasn't. And we've also still been seeing this as well in other regions. Like we've been seeing like some of the price points in, say, Brazil are still like $800. Some of the price points in Korea, still like $900. But I do kind of feel like a lot of the times I've been, like this has been like kind of on the underground information. The more I see for this, the more I keep on seeing in, say, China. Like, I really think that's kind of like a big kicker for stock. And we've mentioned this on prior videos, too. But there's also like a little bit of a premium for United States consoles because there's basically no like there's no issues in censorship. There's no issues in what games you can play, and they're actually open to more games, and sometimes can even go and have preemptive American games that do very well, or have like it's just nicer. Some games get blocked, some are licensing issues, some games there's overall issues. So typically the American consoles do really well on other regions too, because like I said, they have less blocks and just usually are a little bit on the nicer side. And as well as you guys know, a lot of places like Japan or China or Australia just don't get enough stock. And there's a lot of millionaires in China, a lot of millionaires in Australia, a lot of millionaires in Japan and Korea, and they got the money to go make sure their kids are happy. They have the money to make sure that they themselves are happy. And yeah, it's not a fun experience. So kind of give me your thoughts and comments down below, because for me, I don't like this. Like, I don't like the fact that we have our own stock that's now being kind of used to divvy out to other regions, and this has been an issue for a while, but I think it's becoming more and more and more because the price fluctuations and arbitrage or opportunities are insane for a lot of these locations nowadays. I don't like seeing this. I don't like seeing the fact that China's buying our stock at such a cheaper price too as well. And I don't like the fact that like multiple different groups of botters, scalpers, and also like weird like stock movers and like exporters are making so much random money off of just people who just want to get their consoles, and like 13-year-old kids that are maybe mowing their lawns trying to go make enough money for their PS5. So this is very, very infuriating because I don't really know how you can solve this issue. It's very infuriating because people are making still probably millions of dollars doing this, and they have these rare orders going through. And at the end of the day, I still wish a lot of botters and scalpers wouldn't exist because this kind of just keeps on happening over and over and over again. So like I said, give me your thoughts and comments down below. I know it's a little bit of a rougher topic, but what can you do? As we'll keep on checking the Samsung Neo links down below. It's almost done. You can say have maybe a few more hours to go get your free $50 off, or at least go checking it out with the links down below. As well, make sure you guys are subscribed with the notifications on as well for the brand new PlayStation 5 giveaway. Amazon links down below for the PS5 Digital Console Controller, Twitter and Twitch down below, the Weeble and Coinbase down below, and all the usual stuff as well down below. And well, give me your thoughts as well. And I'll see you guys on the next one.